Welcome. This is the Upper School Admission Open House webinar session. We are very excited to welcome you here tonight. And we are promising you that we have a wonderful group of individuals, community members here to greet you, to welcome you to our Saints community. So we're going to get started here. And just some quick introductions. This was last year's Saints Upper School Open House banner. And I was reflecting on this earlier today and noticing how the students were just looking very joyful. And of course, we know things have changed. And now we have masks. So I thought this was sort of appropriate considering the situation that we're all going through. So we're just very excited and grateful that you were able to join us for our virtual session. We know that we would love to have you join us in person, and we hope that you are able to get as much as you can out of this session. And for some of you, this is your third session that you've joined us for. We had one in June and one in August. Those have been recorded. This session will also is being recorded right now as well. So you'll be able to watch this as many times as you want, or if you want your spouse to watch it later, you can do that as well. So just in terms of our agenda tonight, this is your welcome. Then you'll hear from our upper school director, Mr. Mike Mallet. We will then have a student panel. Then we'll have our faculty and some of our administration at the upper school introduce themselves. At various points in the admission cycle, you will be interacting with some of our faculty and administration. So this will give you a chance to put a name to a face. We'll then launch into a Q&A session, and then we'll have some closing remarks, and we'll talk a little bit about next steps before sending you off. So before I turn it over to Mr. Mallett, I wanted to also introduce my partner in crime, Miss Alicia Blanding, who some of you have probably already heard from, and she is someone who will communicate with you often. So Miss Blanding, if you're here, can you just greet everyone and say hello?
Hello, everyone. It's so good to have you here tonight. And I do miss that we are not in person, but I'm happy that you joined us virtually. Like I said, I'm working with John Coons, making sure that we successfully get all of our applications in and you have a smooth process. So I look forward to meeting with you via Zoom as well as via email and phone.
Thank you, Miss Blanding. So without further ado, we will hand things over to Mr. Mallet, our director of the upper school and also a science teacher. Mr. Mallet.
Thank you so much, Mr. Coons. And thank you all for coming tonight to learn more about our upper school program at St. Stephen St. Agnes. We have an outstanding upper school program that is defined by excellent academic and co-curricular activities and robust opportunities for student engagement. Our graduates are well prepared to succeed in college and beyond, and they leave our school ready to make a positive impact on those around them and the broader world. John, could you go ahead and advance the next slide there? The program at the upper school is not static, and we are always thinking about ways we can fully live into our mission of preparing students for a complex and changing world. In just a little bit, I'll tell you about some new and developing programs at the upper school, but I first want to start with our foundation. Our foundation is the promise to families that we will know and cherish, love, and support each and every one of our students. We have 480 students, and we have an exceptional team of faculty, coaches, advisors, and staff members that make sure we can deliver on our promise that we will know and love and support each and every one of our students. Mr. Coons, could you advance to the next slide? So if you could click down, Mr. Coons, here's a quick glance of some of the individuals that collectively work together to provide that safety net. So Mr. Coons, just go ahead and advance there, and you'll see there's there we go. So a support team consists of the advisor, the teachers, of course. We have chaplains, counselors, administrators, deans of students, one specifically for our lower class and upper class, coaches, directors, club leaders, academic support specialists, peer leaders, and student tutors. I think one of the value propositions of independent schools is my child going to be known, recognized for his or her talents? Are there people that are going to draw the best out of them, care for them, support them, take a special interest in their passions? And we have just a wonderful, tight-knit group adults who work closely with your children while they're here at the upper school. Mr. Coons, could you go ahead and advance to the next slide? Our academic program is exceptional with over 30 AP and honors classes. Our students can enroll in a rigorous academic schedule that places them in a position of strength in the college process. Mr. Coons, could you advance? Here's an example of 2 class schedules, one in grade 10 on the left and one in grade 12 on the right. And we can see here that our students balance a choice of traditional curricular choices in our world languages and our science and English and math and history, as well as our religion coursework and opportunities to perform in the orchestra. And on the right, we can see a students challenging him or herself with advanced level courses in English and science, as well as in history and actually 2 sciences there with AP Psych and AP Bio as well. So this slide, what this is intending to show you is that we have a breadth of coursework to allow your students to develop the type of transcript that's going to make them competitive in the college process. We also have a number of electives, really wonderful and diverse electives that students can choose to pursue their particular passions. Some of these include number theory, wetlands biology, current topics in sustainability, and the history of jazz. So not only do they have traditional and high-level opportunities in the core academic disciplines, but they also have terrific opportunities in technology, the performing arts, the visual arts, religion, science, you name it. It's such a breadth of curricular opportunities. Mr. Coons, next slide, please. And please click down, Mr. Coons, here. So this kind of gives you a sense of all of the other co-curricular opportunities. Our head of school likes to say, one thing she finds special about St. Stephen St. Agnes is that it's a small school that provides such big opportunities, right? It is a school that has an award-winning literary magazine. We have a terrific newspaper and also an award-winning yearbook called Traditions. Outstanding leadership opportunities with our Student Council Association, our Honor Disciplinary Board, vestry, admission ambassadors, and some of those you're going to get to meet the admission ambassadors when you come to visit us. We have award-winning robotics teams, and I have this cup from one of their most recent trips to Detroit for the Globals. Opportunities in choral music, athletics, technology, service, both local here, partnership with a local elementary school, or abroad. There are so many opportunities for your children to get involved in programs outside of the classroom, and these are just a few examples of those. Next slide, please. Here's an example of 2 students. Derek was a graduate of last year. I chose Derek because he was a student who really took advantage of all the opportunities. He was a 2-sport athlete, also deeply involved in our technology program, member of the vestry, HDB, Latin Club, admission ambassador, and as well as he played an instrument. And also we have a student currently with us, Nicole, who's a 2-sport athlete, does model judiciary. She has a passion. She wants to go into law, takes Mandarin, was part of a China exchange, and does local service work with our Charles Barrett Elementary School. So what I want to show you here is not only do we have a best-in-class, exceptional academic program in which your students can enroll in the core disciplines at the honors and AP level, but also they have a breadth of co-curricular opportunities to round out their whole experience here at the upper school. Can we get the next slide here? So we are continually thinking about ways to build on that foundation and to provide programs for students that will prepare them for college and beyond. So I just want to talk about some of the distinguishing characteristics of our upper school program. Mr. Coons, next slide. One more, please. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the social entrepreneurship program, our world language certificate, our STEM certificate, and then our SCORE, which is a new student committee on racial equity. So the social entrepreneurship program allows students to leverage their academic skills to develop an entrepreneurial venture that addresses a societal need. On the line tonight, we have Mrs. Valentina Rahman, who is the leader of this program, and she might say a few words about that when it's her time to introduce herself. Some examples of past projects include students increasing access to art education programs for elementary school students, or providing support for the elderly and caring for their pets to ensure proper animal welfare for senior citizens that may need extra assistance. Also training young people in photography to empower them to tell their stories and to bring awareness to the causes that they feel most passionate about. The social entrepreneurship program is so aligned with our mission. Part of our mission is goodness as well as knowledge. And what this program does is allows kids to really leverage everything that they've learned in the classroom, but to put it to use for a project that they feel will make a difference in the world. For the World Language Certificate Program, this is an opportunity for students who want a deep learning experience in the world language. It provides a pathway to go above and beyond the graduation requirements and for students to distinguish themselves as a global language scholar. It involves extensive coursework in 2 or more languages, a global learning experience, either local or abroad, a capstone project, and an opportunity to demonstrate your proficiency in 2 or more languages. At the conclusion of this program, the students would receive special recognition on their St. Stephen, St. Agnes transcript. And in a similar vein is the STEM certificate program. So it's a deep dive experience for students interested in pursuing coursework in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Similar to world language, it involves sort of 3 parts: completing coursework above and beyond the graduation requirement, participating in an authentic learning experience beyond the classroom, and completion of a culminating capstone project that would really demonstrate their mastery, knowledge, and proficiency within a particular project. And then this year, we have a committee called SCORE. This past summer, St. Stephen, St. Agnes launched their action steps for racial justice. And this student committee was formed to work with the teachers and administration to develop educational programs and to help build a student culture, not even a student culture, help build a culture of equity, inclusivity, and belonging. And to give you a sense of the scale of these things, we have over 30 students who signed up to be a part of SCORE. There's a lot of strong student interest to be a part of the SCORE work. We have close to 10 students who are interested in pursuing that STEM certificate program. We have over 20 students who are currently pursuing the World Language Certificate program. And the Social Entrepreneurship program is a bit more malleable. Right now, students can take their service project and launch that into a venture, or just complete their service project as part of the graduation requirements. Mr. Coons, next slide. So what about onboarding our newest Saints? We hope you'll come join us at St. Stephen, St. Agnes, and I bet what's on your mind is, if I join in 9th grade, how's that transition gonna be for me? Many of these kids might have known each other since the lower school. So what can the school do to help transition and onboard our newest Saints? So we have a new Saints orientation late in the summer that's run by 2 of our most wonderful faculty members, Miss Emily Geiger and Mr. Scott McLeod, and they help students understand the culture of St. Stephen, St. Agnes, meet some of the teachers, understand our technology platforms, the building layout, really get them feeling like they can hit the ground running when school begins. And then when school begins on Welcome Day, there's a class bonding activity for grade 9 to really get the identity of that class going. We have a weekly advisory session in which a faculty advisor would meet with the students and help them set goals for themselves and get to know them and their interest, and provide sort of the role of liaison between the family and the school. Some of the things the advisor might do is help direct them to offices where they can get support, whether that's the college office, our mental health office, the academic center, and also talk to them about things, exams and the like. What's real special is this partnership with the peer leaders. So the peer leaders is a group of 18 seniors that have been nominated by their peers as they represent the best ideals of St. Stephen, St. Agnes. And the peer leaders, that's a program run by Miss Susanna Harrison, who's on the line tonight. They partner with the grade 9 advisory and provide a student's perspective on the upper school experience. And I am a grade 9 advisor now. I was one 4 years ago. I find that extremely valuable because the grade 9 students can hear from a veteran student and understand what the upper school experience is like. There's also monthly check-ins with our New Saints orientation coordinators, and our mental health counselor, Mrs. Susanna Harrison, meets with every new Saint. Mr. Coons, could you advance to the next slide? So that's the conclusion of my piece. I just wanted to share this because this is a picture from last year, and it really captures the energy of the school. I think that a lot of schools you're going to look at will have terrific academic programs. They'll have varied and robust co-curriculars. They'll have opportunities for onboarding. That's great. Here's a couple of things that differentiate us. We have the best teachers, right? A school is only as good as its teachers, and we have the best teachers in any school around. They are so hardworking, they're so creative, they're so resilient, and they are so dedicated to helping their students. They're also dedicated to having fun. They're having fun with their students, right? We can see Mr. Ambrose here working with some of his jazz musicians. We can see Mr. Wenger there in the back playing that instrument. They do this because they have a love of working with students, and it comes out in joy in these opportunities when we come together and enjoy a simpler time before COVID. So I will, that's my closing remarks, Mr. Coons. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mallet. And it's now my joy to turn it over to our student panel, which I think is always a very valuable opportunity for folks to hear from our students. I think a lot of you probably are here tonight in the hope of hearing from some of our students. And many of these students that you'll hear from tonight actually did join us in 9th grade. So they have that lens that your students will have in terms of joining a school and experiencing that transition, which we know that is probably something that's on your mind. So without further ado, I will turn it over to our wonderful student panel. And folks, our students, if you could just introduce yourself, and we'll start with Adrian and go right down.
Hi, my name is Adrienne Law, and I'm a senior. I started at St. Stephen's St. Agnes School when I was in kindergarten, and I'm from Alexandria, Virginia. My primary academic interests are STEM subjects, so science, math, and technology. And my extracurricular activities include robotics, theater, and our literary and arts magazine, Fire and Stones. And a unique talent, or something I'm working on, is I'm trying to learn Morse code right now.
Good evening. My name is Garrett Brennan. I'm a junior in 11th grade. I entered St. Stephen's when I was a freshman. I live in Reston, Virginia. My previous school was Langston Hughes Middle School, which is in Reston, Virginia. My preferred academic subject is probably math, and some extracurricular activities I do. I play basketball, and I also enjoy playing golf. A unique talent of mine is I've been speaking Spanish since I was in kindergarten. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jackson Devalens. I'm a senior here at St. Stephen's St. Agnes. I entered St. Stephen's as a 9th grader. I live in Alexandria, Virginia, and my previous school before St. Stephen's was Emmanuel Christian. My favorite subject in school right now is AP US Government and Comparative Politics. Some extracurriculars I do with the school is I've done drama for the past 4 years. I'm the president of the Stage 1 at the moment. I've played baseball freshman year. I wrestled sophomore year, and I played golf junior year. And a unique talent of mine is that I just got my Eagle Scout last Monday. So thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Nicole. I'm a current 12th grader. I entered the St. Stephen's community my 9th grade. I live in Great Falls, Virginia, and my previous school was Cooper Middle School. My preferred academic subject is history, and my extracurriculars, like Master Mallet said, I'm a 3-sport athlete. I play field hockey, golf, and track, and I'm really involved in the model judiciary program we have at our school. And the unique talent I have is I can speak Japanese and Chinese.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steph Adrian. I'm a senior, and I came here as a freshman. I live in Franconia. I used to go to Mary G. Porter in Woodbridge. My preferred academic subjects are math, and some extracurriculars that I do are soccer, dive, and track. And my unique talent is that I can type really fast.
Hello, everyone. My name is TJ Moss. I'm a senior this year as well. I came here as a freshman. I live in Washington, D.C. I came here from Friendship Public Charter, Woodbridge. My favorite subject is math. I run track, and I'm a member of a Mate BSU score, and I'm also a peer leader. And I guess a unique talent about me is I'm really good with babies. They consider me a baby whisperer.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, students, for those wonderful introductions. So hopefully you received a little taste or I should say a sampling of what our students represent here at the school. And I know that you probably have some questions that you'd like to ask some of our student panelists. So I thought I would start things off with a couple of questions that are pretty typical questions that families have when they're looking at the high school. And I'll start out with, and this can be fielded by any member of our student panel, but my first question is regarding the transition. I think this is usually a question that a lot of people have on top of their minds. So can any of you speak to your experience in terms of the transition to St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School? Was it easy to make friends? Was it easy to find your niche? Did you feel welcomed? Can you talk a little bit about that transition?
Sure. So I came from a large public school. There's like 600, 700 people in each grade. And at St. Stephen's, it's around 100, 120 people per grade. And my transition was actually a lot smoother than I thought. Since I play basketball, there's many basketball workouts in the fall and in the summer leading up to my freshman year. So the basketball team kind of took me under their wing, and it was easy to fit in right away because there's so many loving students at the school, and also the faculty is amazing as well. So the transition, as hard as you might think it is, it's smoother than you probably think.
Would anyone like to?
And just to add on that, I was really nervous coming in, thinking that everyone knew each other, no one knew me, and I did a fall sport. And so coming in that summer, I had already met people, I had already became friends with them, and it was just a really easy transition. And faculty members would always say hi to me in the hallways, and everyone was always super nice, and it was just a very easy transition for me.
Would anyone else like to add, or we can also go to another question as well? So one of the other questions that we typically get is about some of our traditions. What are some of our traditions? What are some of the things that our students really enjoy at the school? We do have a lot of history at our school. So I'm wondering if some of our students here tonight can speak a little bit to the traditions that we have at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School.
Yeah, I'll speak to it. So we have a really big thing called Sleepy Thompson, which happens every year. Our varsity basketball team plays schools within the area, and on the first shot of our team, we like throw a toilet paper on the court and we just rush. It's just so fun. Our football team, homecoming's always amazing. Prom, winter formal, homecoming. We also have this thing that happens every 2 years called Friday Night Lights. I was looking forward to this year, but it got canceled, I think. It's very fun. It's our annual game against Episcopal, our rival school. So it's very fun. We have a lot of traditions, so yeah.
And to add on to what TJ said, we also have a Thanksgiving chapel service that happens each year. And this is sort of a tradition I really enjoy coming from the lower school because it's a time of year where everyone in our community is all together. So we have the lower school students and the middle school students and all the teachers come to the upper school for one giant service in the gym. And beforehand, like upper school students and lower school students will make cards for members of our community, as well as like family members and elders at like Sunrise Living Home. And it's really fun to sort of come together, and it's each year, like each grade sits in a different spot in the gym. So it's fun to see you like move around as you sort of progress through high school. And yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I would also add that we have Seminary Hill Cup, which is a really big tournament for girls fall sports, where each sport plays the teams from Episcopal. And it's really important to me because I play a fall sport. And so it's like a really big event to celebrate all of our girls that play fall sports. And beforehand, we have an event where all of the girls that play fall sports meet up. And so we really get to bond as a community.
And then one last cool event that we have is Fun Friday. It also relates back to the transition to the school. So fun. We didn't have it this year because of all the pandemic that's going on. Hopefully Mr. Mallet can get it together next year. But it's basically a huge water balloon fight. and it's really a way for freshmen to kind of make friends with the grades above them, and you really meet a lot of cool and fun people with the whole school together that day. It's usually the first Friday of school together.
Great, thank you, folks. Some great answers to that question. Can you also speak? Another question that we oftentimes get will be in regards to the workload that you experience as a student at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. So I think it would be great if you could take a few moments just to share your experience when it comes to your typical workload and your experience from an academic perspective in that light.
For me, at first, the workload looked very daunting. And it is, and there is a lot of work, but I think that at St. Stephen's, there's a huge support network around you. And if you want to get it done, you work hard, you will get it done and you will get a good grade. I have so many memories of teachers taking time after class and helping me out, and the academic center, Miss Ressler, Miss Salon, helping me out. So it's a lot, but it's manageable for sure.
I also think you can push yourself as much as you want to. You can take whatever level classes you want to. You can pick, like, I'm more of a humanities person. So this year I doubled up on AP histories rather than taking AP science. And I think you can push yourself in whatever avenue you want to. But also with our unique schedule, it technically gives you 2 days to complete your homework. And if you're on top of it, you will be able to time out your homework assignments very easily.
Anyone else like to add? Great. Well, another question that we oftentimes will get is regarding sports, and that's kind of twofold. A lot of people would like to know about sports opportunities that we have and how easy it is to make a sports team. Some people think that we have, or that we're well known for our sports. I think others are not aware of our wonderful arts programs as much, and I was wondering if maybe Jackson, could you speak a little bit to our performing arts, and then maybe we can also move to Steph, Nicole, and Garrett, and they can talk, and TJ, a little bit about making teams and playing sports here.
I would love to. Thank you, Mr. Coons. And I apologize if you hear my dog. She's barking in the backyard. So I came to St. Stephen's as a freshman, and one of the first things I did was I got dragged down to auditions by some friends of mine, and immediately it was so accepting. It was such an accepting environment, and I've done it all 4 years. And so definitely it's a place where you can come and you're gonna have a lot of fun and do a lot of great stuff. So I do the fall play every year. We didn't get to have it this year because of COVID, but we're skipping straight to our student directed and written one act this fall. So that should be really fun.
Thank you. And
as far as sports goes, I think every team has its own requirements, if you want to say like that. We usually have a varsity team and a JV team, so regardless, you're going to make a team. But depending upon your skills, your skill set, and your skills, the coaches, we have very well trained coaches from many different places and backgrounds. So our coaches know what they're doing, and so yeah, you have many opportunities to make a team, and you'll always get playing time. So yeah.
I also want to add that I, in my high school experience, tried 2 new sports. I did track my sophomore year, and I did dive my junior year. And I learned that the coaches were very welcome to me, even though I didn't have any experience. And I really got to learn about all these new sports. Like TJ said, there's a place for everyone.
Yeah, in freshman year, I joined track, and it was my first time doing long distance, and I'm certainly not a track star or an avid. It was very welcoming to me. They set pace me, and I just had to push myself. And it was just a very welcoming and inclusive environment.
Thank you, folks. Another popular area for our students is in the area of STEM. And our program in the past decade has grown immensely, in large part due to student interest and student direction. And one of our student panelists tonight is deeply involved in some of our STEM activities. So I wonder if Adrian, you might be able to share a few thoughts about our program there.
Yeah, so with STEM, there's so many opportunities to get involved, either after school, sort of in a club, or you can do it as a class. So sort of with our technology classes, there's a huge variety of options. You can program, you can do some engineering, you can 3D model. So many ways to get involved. And if sort of, so then also we have like our robotics team, which is after school, sort of during sport. So maybe if you're like me and you're not as athletically inclined as some of our other panelists, but you really like STEM, robotics team is a great way to go because you can also get the sports credit you need. And so we compete in First Tech Challenge or FTC robotics each year. And so we have to build a robot to complete a variety of tasks. This year it's ultimate frisbee theme, so we're like throwing discs to certain targets, and that's been a lot of fun to see. And our team's been pretty successful. In the past 2 years, we've qualified for the World Championship. So it's sort of been really exciting to see how the team has sort of grown and advanced. And with like our STEM program, you will gain sort of your technical STEM skills like programming, designing, and building, but you can also gain other skills like documenting your work, and public speaking is also sort of a big part of our robotics program.
We have a question for Nicole. Nicole, you want to ask or mention the question, and then you can answer?
Yeah. So the question was directed towards like living far away and how that impacts the social scene at St. Stephen's. I think me and Garrett can definitely talk about this. We used to carpool because we live like really close to each other. And there was 5 people in my area that was joining St. Stephen's in 9th grade. And I think it was great that I had that many people from my town to really like carpool with and go on the bus with. But like my best friend now lives in Falls Church, and she lives 45 minutes away from me, and it's like I live at her house now. And really I think like the miles was a challenge at first, but really everyone is so like, wow, you don't live in Alexandria, like that's so cool. And like they want to come outside like the little Alexandria bubble, like see where I live. And I think that's really evident to how our community is so inviting and so great.
Yeah, just to add on to what Nicole said, and also, so freshman year and sophomore year, I mostly took the bus. So to answer the second question, I live about as far away as Upper Marlboro, so I assume there's transportation from Upper Marlboro and Largo as well. And then the social environment, as I said before, I was taken under by a basketball team, and we really live all over the place, from all the way in Leesburg to all the way in Upper Marlboro. So we would find times on the weekend in a spot to come hang out with each other and also hang out with other people from the school. So you really just have to, it's really not that hard at the end. You just got to figure out who you want to hang out with, and that.
Just to piggyback on what both Garrett and Nicole mentioned too, we do have a large fleet of buses that serve the greater DMV area, and we have not just morning pickup and PM drop off, but we also have a late activities bus, because the vast majority of our students, like all of our panelists, will be participating in after school programming. So they're not able to leave campus until about close to 6. So that late activities bus services a wide range geographically for our students who are here on campus until around 6 o'clock. There is a question about football under the lights. I wish that was an opportunity, even though I believe, and now the students can correct me, but I think we are able to play a game under the lights during football season, but it's not a home game, correct?
Correct. There's always a football game under the lights. It's either usually PVI or Episcopal, depending on the year.
And that's when we do the big.
It's always fun.
So what I think we'll do now, and we'll have an open Q&A session too as well after you meet some of our other community members. So we're going to take a break from our wonderful student panel here. They did a wonderful job. And we are going to shift over to the rest of our community members and give them a chance to introduce themselves. So without further ado, you've already heard from Mr. Mallett. So if we could have Dr. Seagraves introduce herself, please.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Jamie Seagraves. I'm the Associate Director of Upper School. I am in my 4th year of service to the school. I also am the Interim Global Studies Coordinator, and we hope to reinstate those trips very, very soon. I'm also an advisor to seniors, and I have taught Spanish in the Modern and Classical Languages Department. Welcome.
I believe Ms. McGuire is unable to make it here tonight, but she sends her regards. She is looking forward to meeting you all. She is actually participating in an event with our students on our football field tonight. So, but she does send her best and is looking forward to meeting you. You've already heard from Ms. Blanding. Additionally, Ms. Kiki Davis, who is our Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusivity, and Belonging, is unable to be here as well. She has an personal engagement that she has to be attending to, but she does as well send her best, and you will have a chance to meet her virtually in the coming weeks as well.
Hi, welcome. I'm Susanna Harrison. I'm the mental health counselor for the upper school. This is my 17th year at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes. And as Mr. Mallett said earlier, I meet with every new student and every freshman early in the year to introduce them to what the mental health resources are in the upper school. And I'm also available to all upper school students and families. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Kate Ressler. I'm one of the learning specialists in our academic center. This is my 4th year at the school, and I also help with coordinating our student tutors program. I'm lucky enough to work with Adrian and Nicole, who you met tonight within that program. Welcome.
Father Kavanaugh.
Great. Hi, I'm Father Sean Kavanaugh. I'm the head priest at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes, and this is my 17th year. I've also had 2 children that have gone all the way through from K to 12th grade. So welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Farrington, and I'm the chaplain at the upper school. This is my 2nd year at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes. I teach full-time, so I teach a number of different courses, mostly freshmen and sophomore and seniors. I'm also an advisor, and I support, of course, our chapel program and also our vestry, which is our chapel student leadership, and I'm also a part of Team Justice. Wonderful to be here tonight with you all, and welcome.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephanie Karoma, and I am our athletic director for girls. And this is my 18th year at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. And on top of working in our athletic department, I also teach AP psychology. I'm a parent of 2 saints as well. And we're glad you could be with us tonight.
Hello, my name is Jeff Walrich. I'm the athletic director for boys. I'm going to my 5th year at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes. I teach digital media. I'm an advisor for 9th graders, and I have a daughter who is in 1st grade.
Hello, I'm Melanie Stanton. I'm the Director of Health Services and then also the PE Department Chair. I've been with St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School for 16 years, and then I have 4 children that are all saints, so welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Valentina Raman, and this is my 2nd year at St. Stephen's St. Agnes School as the Director of Service Learning and Social Entrepreneurship, which Mr. Mallett mentioned before. I teach classes in both the middle school and the upper school around social entrepreneurship. And I also am on Team Justice with Reverend Kristen Farrington, as well as our Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Kiki Davis, and Mr. Brian King, our Director of Environmental Stewardship. And I also support our DEIB work, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging work through our Committee on Anti-Racist Programming. Welcome, everyone.
Honors chemistry, 9th grade physics, and I also teach AP seminar and AP research. I co-teach them with Ms. Hardwick, who you will hear from next. And this is my 9th year at St. Stephen's.
Hi, I'm Kate Hardwick. I'm the History Department Chair at the Upper School. This is my 8th year at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes. As you just heard, I co-teach AP Seminar and AP Research with Ms. Husina. I also teach AP US History and 9th grade World History. And I've also served in various different capacities, including serving on the Honor Disciplinary Board as a faculty representative.
Miss Slattery's not here tonight, I believe. So Miss Elkins.
Hi, welcome. My name is Kate Elkins. I am the Visual Arts Department Chair. I also teach any of the 2D art classes at the Upper School. And I have been with St. Stephen's and St. Agnes for 8 years. And I'm also the faculty advisor for our school's art and literary magazine, Fire and Stones.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jim Marvin, and I am chair of the Performing Arts Department. So that I oversee the music classes, which are vocal music, instrumental music, the jazz, all of the different things that we do, as well as the drama classes during the day. I'm also a director. I direct the fall play and usually our winter musical that opens in the spring. This year, because of the pandemic, we're changing a number of things up, and we're filming a lot of the work, and we're going to be able to share the pieces through film. And this is my 24th year being here, but every year is new. Every project that we do is new. So welcome. I'm glad that we can share tonight with all of you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vaughn Ambrose, and I'm the director of the Jazz Ensemble and director of Chapel Music. This is my 5th year in the Saints community. In addition to teaching jazz and instructing and running the chapel program, chapel music program, I also teach jazz history as well as music theory, and am a member of the DEIB steering committee. Welcome.
Hello all, I'm Tom Johnson. This is my 4th year at St. Stephen's St. Agnes, and I teach many of the engineering and tech classes. And I also run the school STEM lab and coach the school robotics teams.
Hi everyone, I'm Phil Tang. I'm the Upper School Technology Coordinator. So I work with faculty and staff to integrate educational technology. Also coordinate our digital citizenship programming for students, and I teach a handful of computer programming classes. So welcome everybody.
All right, thank you, community members, for introducing yourselves. And what we'll do now is we're going to move over into our Q&A session. And these questions, again, can be for any community members. So feel free at this time to begin adding your questions into the chat. We invite all questions. And to warm things up, I have a couple of questions for some of our faculty and administrators. And the first one, which is, again, kind of a pretty common question these days, are what type of STEM opportunities do students have here? I know that Adrian spoke a little bit about that, but I'm hoping that some of our STEM, those who are involved in the STEM opportunities can speak a little bit more to that from the faculty perspective.
Sure, I'll let Dave and Shannon speak to math and science, but as far as technology, we have a wide variety of tech classes we offer, and tiered opportunities so students have the chance to develop and layer their skills as they progress through the upper school. So for example, we have 3 levels of programming. We have up to 5 levels of robotics, multiple levels of 3D design. The idea that students are able to develop skills and eventually create some cool projects when they become seniors. We have several extracurricular clubs related to technology, programming, and robotics, to name a few. And we also, for students that are really interested in STEM, have offered independent studies related to technology. So last year, had a student perform an independent study on neural networks and AI. So there's lots of chances for students to explore technology, either as a passing interest with our introductory level, or students who are really thinking about pursuing a career in technology have a chance to sink their teeth in pretty deep.
From a science perspective, we offer 6 AP classes, AP Chem, AP Bio, AP Environmental Science, AP Physics 1, AP Physics C, and AP Psychology. So if you have an interest in science, you can start taking the higher level courses your junior year. And as Mr. Mallett mentioned earlier too, we also offer rotating about six give or take, separate courses as well, separate electives that vary each year that are semester-long courses, everything from anatomy and physiology to food chemistry to astronomy to forensics and everything in between. These courses are really cool because a lot of times they're written and run based on whatever faculty that year is their turn to teach one. And so you really get to see the individual interests of our faculty as well, which makes those courses really cool to take. And a lot of times they are student driven in the sense that there is no set curriculum. So the students who are interested in the science and wanting to fill up their schedule with a little lighter load of a course, but a really interesting topic. We also have a science club, kind of varies every year based on the student's interest and how in depth they want to go with the club, but that's generally student-led and student-developed.
In the math department, similar to what my colleagues talked about, we offer all of the AP courses, the AP Calculus AB, the AP Calculus BC, AP Statistics, and we also, which is rather unique to the school, we teach AP Economics in the math department, giving it a mathematical bent, and our students do a great job in that course on the AP exam and all. But we are also very committed to keeping STEM open for those students that are not at the highest end on math. And so we offer non-AP calculus class. We offer a non-AP statistics class. And so we really strive hard to present an array of courses that students can take if they're interested in pursuing math to more than just the typical course load. And so through our extracurriculars, we have typically, this year and last year, we have over 40 students into nearly 50 students that take multiple math classes in a year. And so they double up. This year, we even have a few that will be tripled up in the second semester with some of our 1 semester electives that we offer.
Also want to mention our STEAM lab. We have an incredible facility at the school. It's a student makerspace. It's available to students to come in and build things. We have 3D printers, we have machine tools, we have CNC machines, we have all sorts of fabrication and equipment and resources to, if a student has an idea and there's something they want to build, we can generally make it happen.
Thank you, folks. There is a question for our athletic department regarding practice times and requirements for varsity swimming.
Yeah, so I put an answer in that to the chat, but we swim at the St. James facility, typically 2 mornings a week. And then we also swim at Chinkapin, which is in Alexandria City, 2 afternoons a week. And we obviously encourage students to attend as many practices as possible, but if mornings are not feasible for families or if swimmers are part of a club team, then we're very lenient, on practice attendance for those practices.
Thank you, Coach Karoma. It looks like Kate Ressler answered a question in the chat, but I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit, Ms. Ressler, about support for students with learning differences.
Sure. The question was about what kind of support we offer for students who have learning differences. And we have a few different ways that we work with students through our academic center. So for students that have prior educational testing, they have the option to take one of our academic center classes. And within the class, we work on important skills like planning, organizing, time management, self-advocacy. We also review topics like grit and growth mindset with our students. If they do not take the class, there is still support available. So often we can set up one-on-one meetings with students and just talk about how classes are going and then help them come up with a more strategic plan to become successful. So we have the class, but then we also have individual check-ins, and we're available to all learners in our community.
Thank you. And I will answer this one. The question is whether or not German is offered. And unfortunately, that is not one of the 4 languages that we offer. We do offer Chinese, Mandarin, Spanish, Latin, and French. And the next question is regarding Model Judiciary Club. Maybe Nicole, you could talk a little bit more about that. And I'm not sure if your faculty supervisor is here as well.
They are not on this call, unfortunately, but it is Mr. Ebner and Mr. Robinson are our faculty advisors. So basically, it's surrounded upon a competition in January that we go to against local schools in Virginia that we compete against in a mock trial. And so we also strive to go see court cases or meet with alumni that pursued a career in law. And so it does not matter if you want to pursue a career in law, but for the mock trial competition, really any actors or anyone who wants a speaking role and practice with public speaking or analytical strategies, that's a club that you may be interested in.
Great, thank you, Nicole. And there's a question about whether or not cost of transportation is included in tuition. That is not included in tuition, so transportation is a separate cost, as is student lunch. There is also a question about uniforms and dress code. So would one of our wonderful student panelists like to tackle the dress code question?
So every Wednesday we have something called Chapel Day, where we're dressed up in chapel dress, which for guys is a coat, tie, khaki pants, and for girls, I'm not sure exactly what it is. One of the female panelists can definitely elaborate on that. And then for the rest of the days, for guys, you have to be wearing some sort of a St. Stephen's apparel or a collared shirt. Sweatshirts are fine as long as they're St. Stephen's or a small or no logo, I think. And then again, khaki pants or khaki shorts. It's a pretty simple dress code, and I like it a lot personally.
Anyone else have anything to say about dress code?
Yeah, if none of the other girls wants to talk. So there's 3 types of dresses that we usually have. One is chapel dress that Garrett talked about, and the other is classroom dress, and the last is casual dress. So certain days we get casual dress days where you can come to school in like sweatpants and whatever you want to wear, as long as it's like covering the necessary things, which is always fun when we get a dress down day. Also, professional dress is what we wear every day, and that's more like you can wear a sweatshirt as long as it's at college or a St. Stephen's apparel, and as long as you look presentable, it generally fits in the classroom dress, and that can be jeans as long as it's not blue jeans. But there's a laid out rules, and you can look into that to get more specifics.
Thank you, Nicole. One other common question that we receive is regarding writing. a lot of our students do enjoy writing, and we have a strong writing program. So I'm wondering if our English and history departments can maybe talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that students have with writing.
Hi, I'm Kate Hardwick again. I'm from the history department. Writing is essential to our curriculum. It's actually sort of the focus of our curriculum and one of the main skills that we work on. Every year for 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, students have to write a major paper. We call it the research paper. In 9th grade, it involves a lot less research, and it's driven by the curriculum that we're in, but it's scaffolded to build, so by the time they're in 11th grade, every student chooses their own topic in American history and creates their own research question, completes all of the research on their own, and completes a pretty massive research paper. For the regular classes, normally they're around 7 to 9 or 8 to 10 pages. And I would say on average in my AP class, I'm getting papers at around 15 pages that are really deeply researched, and everything is scaffolded along the way there. We work really closely with the Learning Academic Center for our students with learning profiles. And our main text is a writing text, and we really seek to see history as an argument. And so how can we get our students to become involved in that academic conversation and then communicate that, whether that's orally, but really we focus a lot on their writing.
Hi, Mika Cranford again, English chair. Like Ms. Hardwick mentioned, writing is pretty central to the English department. Students will do lots and lots of writing, a lot of low stakes formative writing throughout all 4 years, and then analytical papers, creative papers, braided essays, which blend personal, critical, analytical responses together. So the feedback that we do get from students after they've graduated is they feel very prepared for anything that a college English professor throws at them. There are writing opportunities beyond what happens in sort of the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade classes, the senior seminars. There's a creative writing seminar specifically, so students who are interested in developing those skills can take a creative writing class for a semester. There's, I think a few of the students mentioned some of these options, but there's the school newspaper, the literary and arts magazine, the One Acts, and that's always mentored by the writing portion of it is mentored by English teachers and drama teachers. There are events like Coffee House and Evening of the Arts where students are able to share some of their creative work. So lots and lots of opportunities to write in all kinds of modes in the upper school.
Thank you, folks. We have a question for our chaplains and for, I think, Team Justice. How are Christian values instilled and supported throughout the curriculum outside of religious courses?
So what I wrote to, I think it was Mac who had the question, was, and really to anybody, the way that we've expressed our faith in the school is we've adopted a relational model of faith. So the thought of someone's sort of doctrine or theology is not as important as the person who's made in the image of God. So we call every child a child of God at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes, and that primarily means for us that everybody has a place at the table. Everybody should be treated with grace and justice, and that is whether or not someone has a religious background or not. So regardless of what class, we really do take every child as a child of God as an important part of who we are. And I think you'll see that with really every teacher. If a teacher has stayed here for more than a couple of years, they have bought into the mission of the school.
Thank you, Father Kavanaugh. We have another question regarding the proportion of students who receive financial assistance and what is the average level of assistance. So we typically will fund about 22% of our students here at St. Stephen's and St. Agnes School. They will receive some sort of assistance from us, and that can range anywhere from 95% financial assistance towards tuition to as little as 10%. So there's a pretty big range. Typically, the average financial assistance grant that we do provide is around $21,000 to $22,000 per grant. Do we have any other questions? There is a question about if we have an update on the construction project. Mr. Mallett, I'm wondering if you might be able to speak for a moment about that.
I mean, I can share with you that there's a team working with the architects. Our business officer, our CFO, Beth Chase, is also working with our Director of Sustainability, Brian Kane, and the architectural firm to develop preliminary plans that they would submit to the city. And there is, in terms of the timing of that, I think it's going to be dependent upon the approval from the city of the planning and probably in alignment with the capital campaign. So in terms of it's moving along. I actually met with the architects today, thinking about what a temporary learning village would look like when we have some classrooms that are out of commission during the construction. And we met last Friday to look at the different finishes of the floors, the cabinetry, and the some of the different colors. So it's definitely moving along. And the exact timeline is going to be determined about the getting the right approvals from the city, things like that.
All right, I think we are getting some questions in the chat here, so I want to make sure we also get those. So there's a question, and this actually will be queued up next year. There's a question about the SSAT testing requirements. We're going to get to that in a moment here. So hold on for that. And I think that is the vast majority of the questions there. So, so we are going to move on to our next session here. And this is in regards to our next steps, right? So now that you're here with us for the open house, you are probably wondering, okay, well, what are the next steps? What do we need to do for your application process? So really, I feel like this kind of falls into two buckets. And those are spending time with us, with our saints, with our students, and the community members that you just met virtually and that you'll continue to meet as we offer different sessions. For instance, we have upcoming next week, we have a departmental deep dive. Math will be up, and that will be on October 13th. So stay tuned for that. That will be another webinar that will be recorded. So if you have an interest in math, you can join us next Tuesday. We also have an athletics open house coming up the following week on the 21st. And that will be a great opportunity for those of you who are interested in our sports programs to learn directly from our student athletes and from our coaches. And we'll have these webinar opportunities throughout the course of the admission cycle all the way into early February. So we will provide you with all of that information. And again, all of these will be recorded. So you'll be able to have the chance to go back and watch these recordings if for some reason you are unable to attend live. And also you'll want to schedule your either virtual or on-campus tour. So we are offering on-campus tours, and we either offer them on Saturdays or on Wednesdays. And generally, when we're doing this, we are trying to not have a lot of our community on campus when we're doing the tours. So we're kind of mindful of that. And if you feel uncomfortable for whatever reason in doing a campus tour with us, you can opt for the virtual tour led by one of our student ambassadors. In terms of submitting supporting documents, that's the other aspect of the process that you should be paying attention to. We are really going to spend time focusing on the transcript this year. The receipt of both first and second quarter grades will be very important for us to determine how well a student is doing and achieving in their current curriculum. Teacher recommendations also will be looked at quite deeply. And the change that we'll be making this year is that in addition to your typical recommendation forms, we'll also be asking your math and English teachers to submit graded samples of work that your child has submitted to them. And we'll do this because of the fact that we are waiving our testing this year, as you see below. So I'm sure that if there are any students online here, they'll be thrilled to hear that we have waived the testing this year. And finally, the student applicant questionnaire that will be modified or has been modified, and there will be greater emphasis placed on that. And so we'll want your students to really spend time to be thoughtful and analytical and share with us some of their thoughts about the questions that we're asking. And there'll be also word expectations in those questionnaires. So what we will do is early next week, we will be sending you an email that has this written down in the email, but also a video kind of walking you through some of the changes that we've made in the process this year, just so you are completely aware of the expectations that we have.